Hankering for some 70s sci-fi and 80s ladled action goodness? Then get ready to harken back to fond childhood memories of low-budget, high entertainment BBC TV and be liberated once more by the bare-boned brilliance of the cult show that is Blake 7. Koch Media have recently released a 2-disc DVD set of over 6 hours of definitive interviews with 7 connecting players to the show. To celebrate 40 years of this classic television series that first aired in the UK on the BBC back on the 2nd of January 1978, to then run for a further 3 seasons over 52 episodes until its earth-shattering cliffhanger final programme aired on the 21st of December 1981. 4 seasons equally made up of 13 episodes per year and giving to the sci-fi loving fandom a new cult show with new cult heroes to cheer for in the likes of Blake, Avon, Vila and the ongoing changing cast of heroic crew members aboard the outlaw acquisitioned vacant alien space cruiser they appropriately name the Liberator. Blake and his mercenaries of justice stand up to the corrupt Galactic Federation, and with the edge over their massively outnumbering army against them, assisting their individual skills are its awesome drive capabilities of the Liberator ship and its advanced computer system called Zen, along with the portable self-aware computer entity that is Orac. The throwback scene is set then for Koch Media to venture back behind the low-budget scenery and delve into the human mind banks of some of the familiar cast and crew of the show to give the fans this 6-hour set with 7 players for the release of Blake 7, 7 Stars Liberated from the classic TV series Blake 7. Featuring a newly shot introduction from the interviewer and presenter Nicholas Briggs, along with producer Keith Barnfather. This set of interviews is a nostalgic trip down memory lane for all involved with Blake 7, as well as being a visual reminder, as well as a factual treat as to just how much fun the show was, and went on to become a much-loved part of pop culture to this day. Many of the interviews are shot on location and inject a touch of humour as recognisable links to the show pop up in the background, such as fully and authentically kitting out Galactic Federation soldiers to observe what is going on, no doubt to report back to the Federation's imperious matriarchal villain Servalan, or her war-wrangling, leather-clad, one-eye-patched Commander Travis, memorably played by Jacqueline Pearce and Stephen Greif, both of whom are among those interviewed here in this fascinating recollection piece from Koch Media. Let's then just set out an overview of what is to be enjoyed upon this 2-disc set and go Blake to the future. Disc 1 of this DVD set has the newly shot introduction with Keith Barnfather and Nicholas Briggs, who both were also a big part of the Doctor Who show from the early days as well, which is an ongoing connecting factor here that becomes apparent throughout the interviews, as the actors of Blake 7 also worked at some point in their careers on Doctor Who. This first disc has interviews with Blake himself, Gareth Thomas, Joan Chapels, who played the telepath Callie, whose character was actually the only member of the original 7 who was not a convicted criminal. The third interview here is with the charismatic yet cowardly character personification of Vila in the real-life guise of actor Michael Keating. Gareth Thomas, who sadly passed away in 2016, is shown here being interviewed in Surrey back in 2003. He is well relaxed and, as he was fondly remembered for, very willing to relay lots of anecdotes. He recalls having a great time on Blake 7 and enjoyed his fun profession at the time, working with a great cast and crew, amongst many he regards as friends. His memories of the show, as are those shared by his colleagues also interviewed for this release, is one of a warmly retrospective view of a typically rather British BBC production that no one expected to become such a cult show or even go on to attract such a huge fan club base. In person, Gareth confesses to being a shy person, but in his character Blake, he was able to draw upon his confident and outward-going persona to get out and do conventions and publicity for the show with a great confidence and swagger. He later loved using his voice for both audio and radio work, looking back with no regrets and only good memories about his time involved with Blake 7. Joan Chapels' interview took place in 2005, and a character of Callie clearly holds fond memories, albeit in an endearingly scatty fashion. She blossoms quite evidently, recalling her time on the show, and endearingly describes the series as being crummy telly and wobbly sets, but such charm and with characters and a chemistry among the cast. She evidently had an affinity for her character of Callie, but reflecting upon her time spent on the show, she felt that the role became diluted as episodes went on, and she wished that she had spoken out for the character's spiritedness, as she deserved more development throughout the series. Michael Keating's turn as Vila proved to be the only character to appear in every single episode of the show, and he so obviously loved each and every moment he spent during those 52 episodes. He recalls memories of non-glamour but great fun. He has fond recollections of the time in which he also worked on Doctor Who and became friends with Tom Baker, and always felt that there were echoes of the Doctor Who scripts used in Blake 7. Keating was involved in the first episodes, introducing K9 to the Doctor Who show, and felt that Blake 7 would be a one-season run, and delighted that it would run on for over 4 years and forever retain its popularity. Of all the work done, Michael Keating indelibly recalls Blake 7 as being his most enjoyable to do. His encapsulating motto is to live forever or die trying. Disc 2 kicks off quite appropriately with the quirky and quintessentially British lady of the manor-esque stature of the delightfully effervescent Jacqueline Pearce, whose unforgettable performance as Blake 7's standout lead villain Servalan, the imperious and pernicious pain in the side of Rog Blake, and the alluring Black Widow to Paul Darrow's lone wolf anti-hero Avon. Interviewed here in a salacious set-out studio flat, very well lit and shot, adorning her long couch set atop exquisite carpets, she oozes confidence and delivers her amazing charm and charisma with natural aplomb. This lady has been through good and bad in her career and personal life, but is a zestful professional who shall never compensate nor compromise for other actors or filmmakers. This mantra gave her a reputation of being difficult to work with, but in actuality it was her stand of setting such high standards of herself. The show, she recalls, had a great deal of weak scripts, but all of the actors brought the best out of what they were given and made those so-so episodes so entertaining. Jacqueline is a classical trained actress, and at the time of Blake Seven felt that the character of Servalan stopped her from getting other work, typecasting her, but she later embraced the popularity of the show and her involvement as Servalan. She cared about the show with a passion. She felt that she was well matched with the character of Avon, but that their on-screen relationship was not fully developed. It was fun for her, though, to play the role at a particularly turbulent time in her own life, and the experience to get her through was a very cathartic one. She too, after Blake Seven, appeared in Doctor Who with Colin Baker as the Doctor, and does audio recording episodes of Doctor Who as well. Her vibrant zest for life and wryly experimental lifestyle is wonderfully expanded upon throughout this standout segment of this release. Next up is one-eyed patched villain himself, Travis, interviewed here in the real-life form of actor Stephen Greif. From a young age he honed his acting and drama skills at the famous RADA College, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. It was while Stephen was at the BBC working on the classic comedy show Citizen Smith back in 1977 that he met Paul Darrow, who told him that there was a part in a show that was made for him, a Jack Palance Space Ranger type. Stephen was intrigued and told his agent about, who then got him an interview, and he was immediately given the role of Travis on Blake Seven. It was tailor-made for him, but he amusingly recalls that no one else was actually up for the part, but there was a great deal of interest for the role of Blake. He recalls that the show was thought of as son of Doctor Who, not slick, professional or smart, but endearing, and not at all surprised that it became the cult hit that it still is today. Greif left the role for a film opportunity as it unfortunately clashed with shooting schedules, and so a new actor was brought in to replace him in the same role as Travis. The actor was Brian Croucher, who Stephen Greif liked and respected as an actor, but always felt that Croucher was at an unfair disadvantage stepping into the shoes of the Travis character, and that the show would have got the best out of him, bringing his unique acting talents to the role of a new tough character to further enhance the show's roster of pantomime villains to boo and jeer upon appearing on screen. It was Paul Darrow who again later pulled Stephen Greif back into Blake's Sevenfold in the 90s, convincing him to appear at the hugely popular conventions as the show's cult grew even bigger down the years. Greif's recollections of his career are highlighted by his time involved with the Blake Seven show and in working with two of his idols, Sir Laurence Olivier and Albert Finney. He fondly recalls Blake Seven as being a very durable series, and from it he made and has kept many of his best friends. Peter Tuddenham may not ever have been seen on the show in physical form, but is instantly recognisable by his spoken voice characteristics that he applied so brilliantly for the show. His much applied radio voice actor artistry led him to being heard by the BBC people who brought him onto the Blake Seven show. Tuddenham is a fascinating old school actor and gentleman which initially led to him getting on-screen parts in shows like Only Fools and Horses. But it is Blake Seven and everyone involved with the show that he is most grateful for in being a part of in his career. Seeing out the selected 7 for this 2-disc 40th anniversary Blake Seven showreel of highly engaging, interesting and informative interviews is model man Mat Irvine, a model creator for the Science Museum. Son of an electrical engineer, Mat was always likely to be led into a technological interest from a very young age. His model creation and effects work on a professional basis became honed on Doctor Who, unsurprisingly, and developed into him becoming the head designer and taking a big part in creative design of show episodes with known filmmakers. He was very rarely out of a job for very long, as so much classic sci-fi and drama programming across the BBC schedule. He got to work on great shows such as Edge of Darkness, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and The Singing Detective, with so much more in between. He has always enjoyed his time spent working on both Doctor Who and Blake Seven particularly, as a big fan of both shows and sci-fi in general, but also enjoyed doing science facts with shows like Tomorrow's World. It is genuinely fascinating getting to look around his workshop here, showing off so much of the incredible model work he's created down the years for so many of our beloved television shows and films. Mat is now more of a consultant for productions on shows such as Robot Wars. He looks back upon his work on Doctor Who and Blake Seven with particular pride and privileged enjoyment of being paid for doing what he loves to do. The perfect conclusion to such an enjoyable trip down memory lane, primarily focusing on the beloved sci-fi cult TV phenomenon that is Blake Seven. It is a great shame that there is no appearance from Paul Darrow here though, sadly, as he is as much as Blake himself a part of the phenomenon that is the show series, and all the supporting cast of the show was and is a massive part of Blake Seven's success. This would have been the most liberating and welcome times to have had our doorbell rung to the declaration of Avon calling. As it is, thanks to Koch Media, this 2 DVD disc set of Blake Seven, 7 Stars Liberated from the classic TV series, is a retrospectively warm and welcome, applicably Blake Seven out of 10 viewing experience for all fans of the show to check out. It's a Zen experience that may just be the liberator you're looking for. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.